Hi, I'm Victor Rivera, and this is D&Me, where I play with myself. I play D&D with myself, and this is D&Recaps, where I summarize 5 episodes of D&Me at a time. Episode 11, Rat and Real Estate. After a night of frivolity in the yawning portal, Onyx shows Tipsy his magical abilities, practicing both on Waddles. The next morning, Toot Toot meets with Ban outside to discuss the terms of Ban being a Xanathar Guild informant. Then the boys reunite with Volo, who gives them a tour of Waterdeep northward to their new property. They have the deed signed over, and they register as arcane users under the Watchful Order of Magics and Protectors. Volo leaves them to their own devices in Episode 12, Woods and Goods. Deciding they need beds and furniture for their new home, the party ventures out to meet some neighbors/local shopkeepers, one of which being the Forest for the Trees, a woodworking barn where they meet Spanish Mustache, a treant with a long teal-gray handlebar, and Woodrow the Woodwode, who only speaks Sylvan. After buying and selling some wooden inventory, they head to another store, Steam and Steel, where they meet Kylor, a halfling weaponsmith, Bruce, a shark triton armorer, and their kids Smalls, who can fly, and Bubbles, who is encased in a protective sphere. They sell their metal wares there, along with silver bars Tipsy found in the Kenku warehouse. Then, at the end of the night, Tipsy, arranging his room, hears a knock at the door. He goes to answer it, and no one's there. He slowly turns around to see his pillow floating in the air, then drop. It turns out the Troll Skull Manor is haunted. Episode 13, Dean Spooky, the Halloween episode. Tipsy runs out of his room screaming and congregates with the others, who have all now transformed into different beings. Onyx is a skeleton, Rock a green-skinned witch, Toot Toot a cowardly lion-esque Manny the Mammoth from Ice Age, Waddles, Nathan Lane's character from the movie Mouse Hunt, and, the scariest costume of all, Tipsy wearing a name tag that says sober. As the Troll Skull Manor becomes more and more like a spirit Halloween, the party encounters a specter. Running from the ghosts, the boys start finding clues about the tavern's previous owner and bartender named Leaf, an obsessed half-elf who chose Ale Deep, the building's former name, over his wife and ended up drinking himself to death. And with a final confrontation in the library, the boys tell Leaf that it'll take some time, but they are willing to turn the Troll Skull Manor into a reputable establishment, which earns them a thankful, ethereal ally. Episode 14, Episode 12.5. Taking place after the events of Episode 12, Woods and Goods, but before Episode 13, D and Spooky, this episode explores Toot Toot and Rock going into a store named Common Items to pick up some general goods, Onyx and Tipsy staying behind at the Troll Skull Manor, where a bored Tipsy gives Onyx a wolf pelt and a billboard-sized silver dragon hide, and an excited Onyx then showing and telling all his various hides, bones, and trophies. Toot Toot then walks back down to the yawning portal to hand back some room keys. Yangra introduces Toot Toot to Davil Starsong, a cocky sun elf who is a leader of the Xantirum. Toot Toot, uncomfortable and uninterested in the Black Network, excuses himself, where he then bumps into Three Strings, who offers Toot Toot information on the Harpers, a faction of good guys. And finally, trying to make his way out of the tavern again, Toot Toot then runs into Bonnie, a strawberry blonde waitress who works at the yawning portal, who blinks purple, asks if Toot Toot is good, then takes him upstairs to one of the rooms where he sees Oggo. Cut to some time later, Toot Toot is walking back northward, and in his hand is a dragon, Waterdeep's name for a gold piece, with a purple opal inside it. Episode 15, Books and Bones. The next day, the boys decide to explore more of the city in pairs. Rock and Onyx, or Ronix, go into a bookstore named Bookworm's Treasure. There they meet a short, stout, bronze dragonborn named Paige the Wordsmith. Magic is learned, and Rock finds himself quite smitten with someone as equally academically enthusiastic as he. Afterwards, while going down to the yawning portal, Rock asks Onyx a lot of questions about personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws, because he read some of Volo's Guide to Monsters, and it turns out that Onyx, on paper, is a better orc than he. They then pick up Floon, who takes them up to the field ward to introduce Onyx to Vinny and Vicky, two Vulture Aarakocra who own and operate Buzzard Bros Butchers and Talons and Tanning, and who will gladly clean and cure Onyx's bones and hides. Thank you for watching and listening. Tune in to the next episode of D&Recap for episodes 16 through 20.